Hello, dear die-hard fans of Days of Our Lives. Welcome back to the channel, where we don't just watch the show, we live with it, breathe with it, and sometimes even lose our minds right alongside the residents of Salem. Today, hold on to your seats and prepare a cup of tea or a martini if you want to feel like a true DiMera, because what I'm about to share with you isn't just regular drama. It's an earthquake. Based on the latest leaks for the week of December 1519, we're standing on the edge of the most terrifying family reunion you can imagine. Are you ready? Then join me, your resident dual analyst, as we dissect every twisted detail of this wild storyline. Part 1. E.J. DiMera's nightmare when the hunter becomes the prey. Let's start with E.J. DiMera. We all know who E.J. is: arrogant, powerful, walking around like the streets of Salem were paved in gold just to welcome him. But according to the latest spoilers, E.J. will wake up in the catacombs. Pause for a moment and think about how psychologically devastating this is. For someone with an ego as oversized as E.J.'s, being knocked out and thrown into a dark underground tomb isn't just a physical threat, it's a brutal attack on his pride. E.J. has always believed he is the rightful heir to Stefano's legacy. And yet, ironically, the catacombs are where Stefano once imprisoned his enemies. E.J. waking up there is symbolic. He's not the one controlling the chessboard, as just another pawn. Here's my theory. Whoever kidnapped E.J. knows the DiMera family history, inside and out. They didn't pick an abandoned warehouse. They chose the catacombs on purpose. They want E.J. to feel the weight of Stefano's shadow crushing down on him. This is psychological warfare, not an ordinary kidnapping. Who has the guts and madness to pull this off? We'll explore that later, but I believe E.J. will suffer a massive existential crisis after this. Will he keep his icy composure after facing absolute darkness and helplessness? Or will we witness a completely unhinged E.J.? Part 2. The guest list of the catacomb tea party. Now let's look at the lineup of victims trapped alongside E.J. We have Kristen DiMera, Chad DiMera, Tony DiMera, and Theo Carver. Tell me, this isn't the most bizarre combination ever. Let's break down each one. Kristen DiMera. She's the queen of chaos. Usually she's the one kidnapping people. The fact that Kristen is also captured means the mastermind doesn't fear her at all, or worse, that Kristen is actually the main target. Kristen's deepest weakness has always been her warped desire for family love. Being locked up with her brothers could push her into emotional vulnerability or make her even more ruthless. Chad DiMera. The golden boy of moral righteousness, or at least he tries. Chad always tries to separate himself from the evil DiMera label. But being dragged into the catacombs proves again that the DiMera bloodline is a curse he cannot outrun. I predict Chad will try to stay calm and find a way out while E.J. and Kristen argue or panic. Tony DiMera. Tony worries me the most. He and Andre before him knows every dark secret of Stefano's games. But the Tony of today is a calm, family-oriented man. His presence here makes him a historical witness. If anyone can decode the reason for this mass kidnapping, it's Tony. Theo Carver. The odd one out. Why Theo? He's a Carver, connected to the DiMeras through his mother, but he represents innocence and kindness. My darker theory: Theo is the emotional leverage. The kidnapper knows Tony, E.J., and Chad all feel protective toward him. By threatening Theo, the mastermind can bend the DiMera wolves to his will. Cruel. Brilliant. Completely DiMera style. Part 3. The return of Peter Blake, the Dan Gauthier shockwave. And now the heart of today's video. The bombshell news: Peter Blake is returning. And the role will be played by Dan Gauthier, starting December 19th. If you're a newer viewer, you might ask, who's Peter Blake? Why is everyone freaking out? Oh, honey. Let me tell you, Peter Blake isn't just a former character. He is a legend of the 90s. He's Stefano's adoptive son and Kristen's biological brother. Their bond is deep, tangled, and traumatized by Stefano's manipulation. Peter returning right when Kristen is in trouble and kidnapped is not a coincidence. Theory 1. Peter the Savior. Maybe Peter comes back to rescue Kristen. He hears she's being tormented by family enemies and returns to clean house. If this is the case, get ready for a brutally emotional big brother saves little sister arc. Theory 2. My favorite: Peter is the mastermind. Think about it. Peter has been gone for years. Forgotten. Overlooked. Replaced by E.J., Chad, Tony. Dan Gauthier excels in layered, seductive, dangerous villain roles. What if Peter kidnapped all of them? To teach them what a true DiMera is? Or to punish them for abandoning him? Casting Dan Gauthier is no small choice. His version of Peter will be darker, colder, more strategic than Jason Brooks' version. December 19th will be unforgettable. Part 4. Why this storyline matters. To be honest, Duel has drifted a bit lately with endless love triangles. But this storyline? It feels like the golden era again. It returns to the core of the show, the DiMera dynasty. When the DiMeras are in chaos, Salem is in chaos and ratings soar. Bringing Peter Blake back creates a bridge between the past 1990s, the middle generation EJ, Kristen, Tony, and the new generation Chad, Theo. It's brilliant. And Nothis isn't a silly resurrection. Peter never died. He simply vanished. His comeback is logical and necessary. EJ needs a real rival. Peter is perfect. Adopted son whom Stefano trusted. Biological son who constantly needs to prove himself. Their clash could define all of 2025. Dan Gauthier being cast tells us something huge. Peter is not a temporary guest star. He's coming back as a major player. DiMera Enterprises is about to be shaken to its core. Conclusion. In short, the week of December 15-19 is shaping up to be one of the most dramatic of the entire year. EJ brought low, Kristen confronting her past, and the rise of a new dark prince Peter Blake. I'm personally counting down the days to see Dan Gauthier's first episode. Will he bring DiMera madness and manipulation back in full force? And will EJ with his giant ego bow down or fight to the end? What about you? Who do you think is behind the kidnappings? Is Peter Blake the masterminder? Is he just another pawn? Are you excited for Peter's return, or do you think he should have stayed in the past? And most importantly, who will escape the catacombs first? Leave your comments below. I will read every single one, and we'll keep dissecting the madness together when the episodes air. If you enjoy deep dive, conspiracy-laden breakdowns like this, give me a like and hit subscribe. Trust me, once Peter Blake walks back into Salem, we will have many things to talk about. Next, we will learn about the issue unfolding across Salem and beyond, a day packed with tangled loyalties, shifting alliances, and quiet storms that could easily turn into full-blown disasters on Wednesday episode recap. The morning begins with a sense of deceptive calm in Chicago, where Chanel quietly checks in on Johnny without grasping the full scope of the DiMera turmoil threatening to swallow the family. Johnny, absorbed in his work and pushing through lingering exhaustion, reassures her with brief messages, unaware that danger is circling closer than either of them realize. Chanel, after finishing her visit, heads back to Salem, carrying groceries, notes from local vendors, and a little dessert tray asked her to bring home. When she walks through the door, she finds the boy dozing on the couch with a blanket barely clinging to his shoulder. The living room is unusually quiet, so quiet that even the ticking clock sounds louder than usual. Paulina stands nearby, humming softly as she folds laundry, appearing far more cheerful than she should be given the recent crisis involving Theo's disappearance. Something about her calmness feels almost deliberate, as though she's choosing steadiness over panic in order to protect her daughter from unnecessary fear. Eventually, Paulina sits down with Chanel and recounts the entire situation, the abduction scare, the chaotic hours of searching, and the growing evidence that someone is hunting down DiMeras one by one. She lowers her voice when she speaks the names Chad, Theo, Tony, as though uttering them too loudly might draw the enemy closer. Chanel listens carefully, but the shock arrives in waves. Johnny's family is in danger, and he's walking straight back into it without even knowing. Her breath catches when she realizes she missed several of Johnny's texts along the way, updates he sent about rushing home. Paulina, still projecting strength, promises they'll reinforce the home, stay vigilant, and lean on every resource they have. Still, a shadow of uncertainty flickers in her eyes. There are forces in Salem that even the strongest families struggle to withstand. Meanwhile, as one mystery unfolds, another quietly accelerates. Holly gathers her belongings back home, preparing for her ambitious journey to Paris, a trip she's been dreaming about for months. Her room is scattered with folded clothes, travel guides, and photos she plans to take with her. Sarah drops by to check on her, offering both warmth and motherly guidance. Their conversation drifts naturally to Tate and Xander, to names that inevitably stir a mixture of joy and melancholy in Sarah. She tries to keep her tone light, even teasing Holly about her newfound independence, but the sadness creeps in at the edges. Still, she insists that letting Holly chase her dreams is the right choice. Holly, cheerful and determined, embraces Sarah tightly before returning to her suitcase, unaware of the emotional weight Sarah is trying to hide. Elsewhere in Salem, Brady steps into the familiar setting of the pub, just in time to find Tate finishing up his shift behind the counter. The boy looks tired but content, wiping down a table and nodding at regular customers as they head out. Brady watches for a moment before delivering the news, not with drama, but with quiet certainty. He's moving out of the townhouse tonight. The declaration catches Tate off guard, especially since the townhouse has always been a running joke between them, given that no one is entirely sure what to call the place. Apartment, condo, either way, it's been home. Brady tells him gently that he wants Tate to choose where he wants to stay next, granting him more freedom than he expected. The moment is bittersweet. They exchange a long, silent look before Brady picks up his bags and heads for the door. Brady's next stop is the mansion, a place filled with echoes of old disputes, reconciliations, and traditions that refuse to fade. Sarah opens the door and nearly drops her mug when she sees him standing there with luggage. The surprise on her face melts into confusion, then concern. Brady explains that he needed a change, a cleansing of sorts, something steady to help him rebuild his life. Sarah, though flustered, nods slowly, understanding more than he realizes. She offers him a place to rest and a quiet corner to think, promising they'll sort out the household dynamics later. Back across town, Chanel's panic has settled into determination. After hearing Paulina's explanation and reading Johnny's hurried messages, she immediately begins planning. She tidies the living room to keep her hands busy but pauses every few seconds to check her phone. She knows Johnny's loyalty to his family, especially during crises, is unwavering. He'll rush home without hesitation, even if danger lies in his path. Her main fear isn't EJ himself. She's never trusted the idea that EJ would target her personally. But she can't ignore the long list of enemies connected to the DiMeras. Even a family as powerful as theirs has thick shadows trailing behind them. Paulina, sensing her daughter's worrying growing by the minute, prepares hot tea and lays out a plan for extra security. She insists they will protect Chanel, Johnny, Trey, and anyone else who finds themselves caught in the crossfire. Chanel struggles to believe that their small household can withstand a threat large enough to strike prominent DiMera figures, but she appreciates her mother's resolve. Paulina reminds her that families stay strong by relying on one another, reinforcing the importance of unity, a traditional mindset she has held her entire life. At the same time, Rachel and Sophia are embarking on their own secretive journey. Rachel, resourceful as ever, helps Sophia sneak out without drawing attention. Their whispered plans, hushed footsteps, and hastily packed bags indicate that this decision has been brewing for a while. They slip away before anyone can stop them, setting into motion yet another unpredictable storyline that will undoubtedly collide with the ongoing tensions in Salem. The day closes with shifting alliances, unspoken worries, and the quiet promise of more upheavals to come. Johnny's return to Salem looms over Chanel like storm clouds gathering on the horizon. Brady settles into the mansion with the weight of a fresh start pressing against his shoulders. Paulina keeps watch over her family with fierce determination. Holly boards her flight toward a new chapter. And somewhere in the distance, the unknown threat hunting the DiMeras sharpens its focus, preparing to strike again.